At first glance, Kill La Kill the Game If seems to have everything you'd want in a fighting game based on a beloved anime series. It has sharp cell shading, a fighting game pedigree from publisher Arc System Works, and the endorsement of the series animation studio Trigger. Unfortunately, appearances can be deceiving. When you actually get your hands on it, If's loose, mashy fighting feels like a stripped-down version of the prototypical 3D anime fighter rather than a loving homage. Kill La Kill the Game If takes its general shape from past 3D anime fighters like Jump Force and the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm series. The one-on-one duels are very simple. Each character has their own versions of 3 basic attacks: a close-range strike, a chargeable long-distance attack, and a slow-moving guard break. There's also a flashy, meter-limited version of each attack called a Death Blow, which does extra damage, though not enough to live up to the name. Though the controls are simple and each character's fighting style has some unique tweaks, like heavy hitter Ira Gamaguri, who whips himself to power up his attacks, it's hard to avoid the feeling that you're just mashing your way to victory no matter who you choose. There's a system in place where blocks beat attacks, guard breaks beat guards, and dodges beat guard breaks, but with an air dash that can reach your opponent from any distance and a lot of single-button combos, it still feels like rushing in and mashing an attack button is the optimal strategy. That's disappointing, but If's strange camera would probably make it difficult to keep track of anything more complicated anyway. Rather than following your character, the camera floats freely around the arena, allowing your fighter to move out of focus or even all the way to the background. It's easy to lose track of what's going on, especially in a hectic match. You also have Bloody Valor, a rock-paper-scissors-based comeback mechanic offering some recourse when you're in a one-sided fight. For half your special meter, you can gamble for a power boost. If you win 3 times in a row, you gain access to Lost Fiber Secret Art, a match-ending super move. Though it sounds exciting, disrupting the pace of a fight for Bloody Valor is always annoying, and pulling off 3 wins to earn the Lost Fiber attack feels like a crapshoot. Despite being a competitive fighting game, If puts single player first. Its 2 story-driven campaigns remix and retell the Kill La Kill story from Satsuki and Ryoko's perspectives, and it's clear you are expected to have seen the entire anime series already. If not, be prepared to be spoiled by the opening cutscene. This feels odd for general anime and fighting game fans, since playing the first chapter of the story mode is required before you can do literally anything else. In fact, you're forced to play more than half of the first campaign to even unlock online play. And though the campaigns are short, they seem to drag on for far too long. There's some variety, thanks to 3-way matches and large-scale brawls with groups of generic enemies, but none of them remix the experience so much that it's worth sitting through the overly long stretches of dialogue and cutscenes between fights. Much of those simply recount the key plot points of the anime you've likely already seen. The few changes there are feel like classic fighting game fare. Excuses to make specific characters fight, rather than creating some new or interesting story. While it can be tough to sit patiently through cutscenes when you'd rather be playing, they are really well composed. If employs some elegant cell shading in and out of combat, and cutscenes feature some striking cinematography. As you play the story, you'll also unlock some amusing but thin solo modes, various collectibles, and new characters, growing the paltry starting roster of 6 fighters to a still meager 10, 2 of which are just alternate versions of the campaign protagonists. 2 more characters are coming as free DLC later this summer, but even 12 characters feels light when the anime is jam-packed with weird, wonderful supporting characters who could add variety and personality to the lineup. Despite some great-looking cel-shaded graphics, Kill La Kill the Game If feels carelessly put together. With a shallow roster to match its shallow fighting system, it lacks both the breadth and depth to make competitive play interesting, and its story mode that is simultaneously long-winded and brief fails to make up for an overall lack of interesting content. For more Kill La Kill the Game If, watch our playthrough of the first story mission and 13 minutes of versus match footage. You can also check out our reviews of other fighting games like Mortal Kombat 11 and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And for everything else, keep an eye on IGN.